Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us on the AEW save with our two shows that are going to take us to All Elite Wrestling. Have a nice day. Our April pay-per-view on the road to, of course, Double or Nothing, which will be in May. It's been really well since I've recorded the last episode, maybe about a week or so. So I'll take that week and I look back and make sure everything flows correctly. Luckily, as I say, the match card was mostly already planned out. So hopefully there should be no issues with that. But looking forward to a good show. And, as I say, looking forward to hopefully something spectacular once we get to the pay-per-view. So here we go. This is show 1 of 2. We are in University Park in Texas, I believe. Just confirm that. There we go. So just under 10,000. It's a weird situation with the economy falling, but a very thriving wrestling industry. So, without further ado, here is the week 3 edition of AEW Dynamite. So 9,674 in attendance, pretty close to what was expected. And we have 5 pre-show matches, starting off with Ricky Starks picking up the win in dubious means over QT Marshall in 6:15. So a 46 here and just continuing to build up Ricky Starks, so a good victory for him. We had a tag team matchup that saw the Butcher and the Blade defeat Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa in 8:14, with the Blade pinning Brandon Cutler with a neckbreaker. The Blade carrying the matchup 44, solid if not spectacular, so a good win in momentum for the Butcher and the Blade. Next up, we had a decent pre-show match that saw Santana and Ortiz, Proud and Powerful, defeat Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela in 11:46 when Ortiz pinned Sonny Kiss. Again, just giving Proud and Powerful some good momentum. A 66 rated matchup there. Then I had some 8 women's tag, and it was a pre-show matchup. I had a decent reaction from the crowd in Terrible Wrestling as the Blonde Tourages Ashley Lane, Penelope Ford and Ali teamed up with Brandy, and they defeated Big Swole, Tony Storm, Sadie Gibbs and Yuka Sakazaki in 8:47 when Ashley pinned Yuka with the Shining Wizardry kick, or Yakuza kick, not a Wizardry kick for once. A 47, actually quite happy with that. You can see in terms of performance, Sadie Gibbs quite a good far bit off, Penelope as well and Big Swole, but some good performances in there from Ashley, Tony and Ali with a very surprising 50 rating as well. Of course, few participants the crowd don't particularly like, but again, we just need to develop those particular attributes. Our main event for the pre-show, or just our version of AEW Dark, was basically Darby Allin beating Austin Gunn in 11:39 with a coffin drop. A 72 and a good win for a man who has big problems with Cody. Show itself, we start off with the Sex Gods in the ring, and they say they're taking the night off because the Bucks have got a massive 6-man tag tonight against Death Triangle, so they're just going to sit back and enjoy, recover, and get ready to defend their championships at Have a Nice Day. A solid 85 promo. The performance of Jericho was fantastic. It just shows you if they both click together unscripted, they can have good promos. If not, it usually goes to about 60 odds, so delighted with that. And a good promo from the Sex Gods. We did have Hangman come down to the ring to do commentary. As a 73, he's getting ready for this tag team match, the Titans versus Miro, and a partner he's found of his choice. And that match had great heat and decent wrestling, and it saw the Titans, Brian Cage and Jacob Fatu defeat Miro and Matt Hardy in 13:32 when Brian Cage pinned Matt Hardy with Machine Termination. A 68, Matt must have been a very bad physical decline because a 46 performance compared to the rest is quite a big gap, but it gives the Titans more momentum as they head towards the pay-per-view and their championship opportunity. After the matchup, we see him going backstage and Matt says, "I know you're facing the Death Triangle, just give me that opportunity to basically turn this around. I've been on a horrible run for him, I haven't been great, but for the right price I know I can certainly do that and give you the victory against the Death Triangle." So they agree. It will be Austin Creed, Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy versus the Death Triangle at Have a Nice Day. and that was a 65 rated segment. Matt underperformed, he's getting stale. There's something just not quite right with this version of Matt Hardy. We then had a bout that had not a lot of heat and terrible wrestling as Chris Statlander defeated Leva Bates in 601 by pinfall. It's a 31 rated matchup. Just again giving Statlander some momentum and some overness. Again, the crowd don't really care for either, so it's up to us to change the crowd's opinion of both respective wrestler. Also in the women's division, we had a decent matchup between Heidi Lovelace and Awesome Kong, where Heidi got the shock victory with a roll-up in 5:53. This was a 51. It's just a case of she's probably gained about 8 or 9 over, so she's in a good position with that. But while her popularity is good, there's still a few attributes she needs to improve in. Again, matches will help that. Moving along, we had the Dark Orders, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno defeat Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt in 9:21 when Stu Grayson pinned Marco Stunt with a reverse pile driver. At 57, I just felt like the Dark Order needed the victory. It's going to be more explained why this match took place. In the next segment, as a nice wee graphical error there. But anyway, Mick Foley announces that the 6-man Trios Championships will be online, of course, we know that, at the pay-per-view. And it's going to see the team of the full Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt as they'll take on the Dark Order's Brody Lee, Mr. Brody Lee, alongside Grayson and Uno. So a 51. And it'll be intriguing to see just how Grayson and Uno do alongside Mr. Brody Lee. Next up, in the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament, a bout that had not a lot of heat and terrible wrestling, the team of Hikaru Shida and the debuting Mayu Iwatani defeated Indy Hartwell and Killer Kelly in 8:10 when Mayu pinned Killer Kelly with a diving double foot stomp. Of course, she's going to be head and shoulders above the rest in the ring. That's not an issue. I say it's just getting her over to a big level in the US. It gets them into the semi-finals, which is good. A 48 is okay. She debuted the franchise player gimmick, which is awful, is not good. Although, her and Hikaru Shida have an excellent chemistry, it was nice to discover there. And at the same time, putting together Indy and Killer Kelly was not a good idea, as they were off their game together. They don't work well as a team. So thankfully, they're a round 1 loss. In terms of winning performances, you can see who works and who is definitely a work in progress. But that's 3 of our 4 semi-finalists confirmed. The matches will take place at Have a Nice Day, and that 4th quarterfinal matchup will be next week on Dynamite. And speaking of that, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, the Dark Order recruitment team, have decided that they've managed to recruit a partner for Priscilla Kelly, and she's just so confused. They're like, trust us, we got this, we have got you the perfect partner for this tournament next week. So Brody Lee puts the faith in Reynolds and Silver, and Priscilla Kelly is just really, really concerned at who's going to join her in this tag team matchup. Then the matchup had good heat and decent wrestling. We had Lance Archer defeat Tyler Bate in 9:32 with the blackout, following interference from Ace Austin. This was a 66. Although Tyler's been a good run for him, it again just shows how dominant Archer is, especially now as the bodyguard of Ace Austin, and Ace getting involved just gets some more heat on the villains. Moving along, both MGF and Moxley are going to be in commentary for this one. It's a 68 rated segment, which is quite poor, obviously limited. But yeah, it's going to be Orange Cassidy taking on Wardlow in our co-main event. And it was a good heat, decent wrestling, with Cassidy pinning Wardlow in 8:41 with the super kick. Obviously Wardlow's going to be the much bigger specimen here, but using his speed and a wee bit of luck, Orange Cassidy picks up the victory. So 64, and it gives Orange Cassidy some more momentum heading to Have a Nice Day. After the matchup, it's basically a 4-man brawl. Moxley brawls with Wardlow, Cassidy and MGF brought with the back. 3 good performances. Wardlow was underwhelming, but still a very good 82 segment. And interacting with Moxley you can only aid these three as well going forward. Darby Allin then cuts her best promo of the night with 87, just basically saying, Cody, you beat me, that's fair enough, but I'm limited to what I can do in a normal matchup. If you're really as good as you say you are, you'll face me in a matchup in my choice where there's limited rules and I can be as crazy as I want. So the proposal has been put to Cody in that 87 rated promo, so that's going to help us know that our match can get maybe about 82, and we should gain pop in the US if we get that with our main event. Which, speaking of which even, wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. I thought this would steal the show. We can see why it hasn't stole the show. An exceptional matchup, the team of the Death Triangle, Rey Fenix, Pentagon Jr. and Pac, defeated the Elite, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson and Cody in 15-17 when Pac pinned Nick Jackson using a foreign object, a 78. The lowest performance for Pentagon and Phoenix went 85, so everybody was in great performance. The worrying thing was obviously made us steal the show, so I don't know if that affected it, but there was a lot of points anyway when there's a lack of psychology, so maybe the 12-minute match all out would work here, but 15 minutes seems to be too long, which is madness. But there we go, a lot of them don't have the psychology stat, they just have everything else, so huge reduction for that. And if we scroll all the way down there, yep, psychology is going to probably take it down from an 81 or an 82. But anyway, upper hand with the Death Triangle, obviously they're going to be facing the team of Austin Creed, Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy. It gets the likes of the Bucks and Cody thinking ahead of their respective matches with the Sex Gods and of course Darby Allin. We finish the show with a 79, which increases our pop in 21 regions, aka everywhere bar the US. So maybe we're just destined not to improve in the US, but we'll keep at it and we'll see what happens. We'll crack on now with episode 2. I don't want to jump into the main screen because obviously that signing I want to try and keep under wraps for as long as possible. So yeah, let's move on to that. So our second episode is from Santa Clara, California. I've decided today no pre-show matches because I want to get to the pay-per-view. So we have the 4 contenders for the AEW World Championship in our opening segment. Hangman, of course, the champ, alongside Miro, Brian Cage and Jacob Fatu. So later on tonight we'll have the Titans, Fatu and Cage in action, and it's just kind of all 4 kind of talking up their chances of who's going to come out on top as champion. Of course, Cage and Fatu speaking about saying, we could just team up and let the better man win, which is obviously causing a bit of concern for Rusev for Miro and for Adam Page. A 76 though to open the show, not too bad there. We have some tag team action, and it was about that had not much heat and terrible wrestling, as it saw Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, the Jurassic Express, defeat Alex Reynolds and John Silver in 6:28 when Luchasaurus pinned Alex Reynolds. So a 42. Crowd were vocal against Luchasaurus, which is not ideal, but a good win for them as they head in to have a nice day. Of course, remember at the end of the show we'll go through the full card for the event that is upcoming. Next up, basically Brody Lee just berates John Silver and Alex Reynolds. He just basically says, what the hell was that? You lost again. Now this tag team partner for Priscilla better not be an idiot. She's got to go far in this tournament, so don't disappoint me again. And that's a 30 rated segment. So the partner was unveiled, and it was the signing of Abaddon. I've imported her into this mod and we've signed her up. Would make perfect sense with the Dark Order, with her kind of character. And about they didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, Abaddon and Priscilla Kelly defeated Deonna Purrazzo and Toni Storm in 8:05 when Abaddon pinned Deonna Purrazzo. Toni Storm carried the match up, and this was our final first round match in the AEW Women's Tag Title Tournament. Abaddon debuts a Living Dead gimmick, which got an initial rating of great, and the segment rating itself was a 46. So basically this matchup is obviously Toni Storm's fine with Abaddon, but Deonna is absolutely so timid. She's like, I don't want anything to do with her. Priscilla's obviously a bit doubtful, but at the end of the day they pick up the win, and she's kind of happy, but she's like kind of like, okay, what the hell is this? And that was a 28 rated segment. Moving on, some more tag team action in the women's division. Had decent reaction from the crowd and subpar wrestling as Heidi Lovelace and Nikki Storm defeated Jamie Hayter and Leva Bates in 5:48 when Nikki pinned Jamie with the perfect storm. Simple matchup to give the babyface team the win, a 56 rating, and the performance of Nikki Storm really stood out. She has just been close to an MVP in this whole company, never mind the women's division on its own. After this, we get a promo from the Blontourage members Penelope Ford and Ali. They cut a promo on Nikki and Heidi as they will clash this Saturday at Have a Nice Day in the semi-final match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. So a 41 rating there, as they just basically say, hey, we're better than you, we're more beautiful than you, what he's going to do about it. And they've got the numbers game as well. We had a decent matchup that saw Ace Austin defeat El Lindemann in 5:33 with a fold. It's just given Ace a victory on Dynamite television. That was a 65 rated matchup. After the matchup, we had his bodyguard Lance Archer just destroy El Lindemann, and really just sending a message to the team of Cesaro and Tyler Bate as they will all do battle this Saturday at the pay-per-view. MJF cuts a promo on Orange Cassidy. He's just basically saying, you've got no chance in this match, you've got no chance against us on Saturday, and you're just going to cost Jon Moxley any opportunity he wants to get his hands on MJF. But a very solid promo, an 87, and it wasn't actually Orange Cassidy, it was Scorpio Sky. My bad, forgot that. I wanted to give Scorpio an opportunity. But good matchup, great heat, good wrestling. MJF defeats Scorpio Sky in 13:51 with a Swanton Bomb. So a 72. So we go back to the last promo then. So he's basically said to Cassidy, watch what I'm going to do to Scorpio Sky. It's going to happen to you, you're going to cost Moxley. That's the idea I was going with it. Scorpio Sky is somebody that's got a lot to give, and I just feel like he's due a good run. But I'm going to give MJF the win here. It makes him look super strong going into the pay-per-view. And then Scorpio Sky can probably see a push down the line. But a 72 is a pretty steady matchup. The Titans then in action, they took on Private Party with a win in 10 minutes and 2 when Cage beat Mark Quinn with the Machine Termination. Two good tag teams. Private Party's time will come down the line, but you got to make the Titans look $1 million before the pay-per-view. So they pick up the win. Mark Quinn has a gimmick getting stale, but 4 good performances, none the less. And then after it, Cage and Fatu are in the ring. Even though they're not aligned, they're not even both babyface, but Hangman knows he needs to get an upper hand in the numbers game. So him and Miro join up forces to beat down the Titans. Will Hangman defend and retain the championship this Saturday? It could be one of his toughest tests yet to date. So a 78 rating for that. We then had a mega matchup. 5 members in each team. Then our circles, Jericho, Guevara, Santana, Ortiz and Hager against 4 members of the Elite in the form of the Young Bucks, Cody, Kenny, and they had Austin Creed with them. And it was a superb matchup that saw the babyface team defeat the heels, then our circle, in 17:36 when Austin Creed pinned Santana with a TKO. Lots of performances to take on board in this 80 rated matchup. Austin just a 62, Hager a 67, Santana a 68, Jericho the worst at the 62, so again, he just doesn't suit this product, but a lot of guys with a very positive performance. And we end the show with Darby Allin beating down Cody with a ladder, just basically destroying Cody, but these two are going to go to war as he signals that he wants to make the match against Cody. No disqualification. So overall, a 78 rated segment there. That gave us an 80, which has increased our popularity in 23 regions. And because I've managed to hide the name of the big signing, we'll move along to check a few things. And hopefully we can get a good show. So one thing to report is we are going to see the retirement of Dustin Rhodes in a couple of months. So we'll give him a big send off, probably at Double or Nothing, so I'll try and work him into a matchup. WWE extensions for Akam. If I knew that, Reserve's contract was up last week and we never signed him, so that's fine. Yeah, there you go, there's another new signing in the door. One I think we had to make, but Kenta will be signing. It's a big contract, $70,000 a month for 4 years, but I'm actually looking forward to actually using him, but we are going to have a stacked card for Double or Nothing at this rate. Still need to get a bit more good shows in the US, but to try and just push that to big, because I want to get Will Ospreay in, but at the moment that's not looking to happen. Quite a few things to keep a note on. So that's obviously all the stuff that happened last week with Dustin retiring. So last week we had a 2.92, this week we follow up with 3.02, so that's our best rating. So we're getting better and better around the world, which is good to see, and I'll put that user point in for completing 50 successful shows, not just 50 shows, 50 successful. So overall, I'll sort that out off video, but we'll just quickly run through the card. If you want to put your predictions in the comments section below, we have a card of the following: AEW Women's Tag Team Championship semi-finals. We'll see the team of Hikaru Shida and Maya Iwatani, and they are going to face the team of Priscilla Kelly and Abaddon. We're going to see the team of Nikki Storm and Heidi Lovelace to face Penelope Ford and Ali. This was originally scheduled to be the final, but I wanted to put the final to the Double or Nothing, so that is our semi-final matches. Cesaro teams with Tyler Bate to take on the team of Ace Austin and Lance Archer. The Trios Championships will have online for the first time as the team of the Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy take on Brody Lee, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. The Tag Team Championships on the line as the Young Bucks challenge the Sex Gods. Cody will take on Darby Allin in a no DQ match. A 6-man tag is Kenny Omega teams with Austin Creed and Matt Hardy to take on the Death Triangle, the Lucha Brothers and Pac. John Moxley teams up with Orange Cassidy to take on MJF and Wardlow. Should John Moxley get the win, he'll get his hands on MJF. And the main event for the AEW World Championship, we will see Hangman Adam Page defend against Miro, against Brian Cage and against Jacob Fatu in an Extreme Mental Fatal 4-way. So hopefully the pay-per-view delivers. Hopefully you join us for that, and until then, thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.